For those of you who miss who you used to be in Ramadan, and as the last 10 nights are approaching, you look through your Ramadan and think you didn't do anything from what you used to do, that you didn't feel what you used to feel. When you just had time, when you weren't a full-time parent or working full-time or studying full-time or caring for other people or navigating your own trauma and mental health issues. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that if a person does worship and then they get sick or they travel and that worship that they do all the time has to stop because of their circumstance, that the reward continues as if they were doing it, even if they're not in that moment, because they would be doing that if they could. So talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and tell him, say, oh Allah, I miss who I used to be. Accept from me who I used to be. And tell him how, if you could, you would. If you didn't have the responsibilities that Allah put in your life right now, you inshallah would still do those actions. You would, but alhamdulillah for the responsibilities that He's placed in your life. And so you ask Him, Ya Allah, let me see those responsibilities as worship. Give me the wisdom to taste the sweetness of my relationship with you in taking care of what you've put in my life. And you can tell him, do you remember, Ya Allah, when I used to be so lost and you guided me? Do you remember the way? And tell him the way you used to, whatever it was that used to bring that sweetness in your relationship with him. That, oh Allah, if I could, tell him that you would leave everything and just focus on that worship. But also know that in His sight, maybe what you're so busy with is more beloved to Him than when you secluded yourself, because now you're helping and supporting other people. Or maybe you're taking care of your own, navigating faith with trauma. Tell Him that you love Him and that you miss Him and that you miss being able to worship Him the way you used to be. To accept who you used to be and accept those deeds as if you were doing them now. Accept them as if they've continued for all of these years, because if you could, you would. And ask Him that even if you haven't felt anything this Ramadan, even if you haven't done all that you wanted to do or that you could have done, to count you as the people that love Him, because you do. And ask Him to write you as someone whom He loves.